This is America in 2025. Millions of people are following the rules, working, budgeting, doing everything right, and still can't afford to live. Most households are one emergency away from disaster. No savings, no cushion, no margin for error. The cost of living is rising faster than wages, debt is skyrocketing, and the system is pushing people to downsize their entire lives just to keep their heads above water.
So we all know that this economy has gotten really expensive, and I'm just curious. I will tell you what I've redone in my current everyday life. I'm just curious what you've done. So for me, I don't eat out. I haven't eaten out in 5 years. I cook everything from scratch. I have a garden. Now, I had the garden before this administration, but I doubled it this year so that I had more variety and more things to preserve to try to lower costs at the grocery store. I went to my doctor and had them put all of my medications to generics. They don't necessarily always work as well, but I decided I had to do something because my out-of-pocket for my meds was around $1,000 every 3 months, and I had to lower that. So I did that. I did that in February. And then I don't go anywhere for vacations. I do staycations because it's just not, I'm not outputting any money right now. I'm trying to pay off all my bills. So I'm limiting trips. So I try to plan ahead and plan my entire month. So I'm only going 1 day a month to the stores. I do have the luxury of working from home, so that is, I know not everybody has that, but I'm trying to lessen my gas usage, lessen the times that I go places, or if I try to go to places that are closer to home so that I keep that cost down. I have animals. I have 2 chows, and those 2 chows, I went through all of the things that I annually did at the vet and determined which one I thought was a risk and which one I thought wasn't. And a couple of their annual vaccinations I decided I didn't need to do. One is kennel cough. We don't go anywhere. They don't go anywhere besides this house. They're not going to get it from each other because it's exposure to other animals, and we don't go anywhere. Lepto, which is standing water issues. I didn't see that as a need because, again, we don't go anywhere. We live here and there's no standing water in my backyard. So there are things that I did to downsize and redo my costs, trying to deal with this. But I'm curious. I know a lot of you are struggling. I'm just curious what you've done to change the way you do things to try to address the rising costs.
I don't know about you, but I miss being regular sad about the world and not catastrophically horrified every day by the world. Just me?
I remember when I used to pay $60 for a bag. That's crazy.
I want to see something disgusting. I just did a little bit of grocery shopping. Let me look, hang on. $106.70 for that.
A recent breakdown of middle-class income ranges across all 50 states shows just how wide the gap has become. In many states, a middle-class income now begins in the low to mid $60,000 range and stretches well into the $180,000 to $200,000 range at the upper-end states like Massachusetts, New Jersey, and Maryland rank at the top, where families may need nearly $200,000 a year just to remain in the middle class. At the same time, new inflation data shows a steady decline from the highs seen in 2022, when inflation peaked near double digits. While the rate has eased over the past 2 years, it continues to fluctuate between 2 and 4%. Still enough to keep pressure on household budgets, especially when combined with rising housing and living costs.
The extraordinarily wealthy in this country, I don't think have ever experienced being at a counter at the grocery store trying to figure out, can the $40 I have left in my checking account until Friday get me this gallon of milk for my kid, fill my gas tank to get to work, and give my kid lunch money, because you don't want them to feel the pain, and get the gallon of milk and the bread and the deli meat. Can it do all of that? Because the $40 really can't. And you as the parent know that. And yet, a lot of these people will think you're lazy we'll just work harder. And these people are already maxed out. They already have a master's degree. They have more education than those other people who say, we'll just work harder.
We just don't want to admit it, but van life equals housing crisis. This isn't a vibe, and this is not freedom. This is what happens when housing collapses and survival becomes illegal. Millions of us are being pushed to live into vehicles just to survive. And cities are treating us like shit. And for most of us, van life is the last resort, and we're being hunted for it.
So I see a whole bunch of people, I don't know if they're real or not, that's why I'm not going to pull the comments, talking about becoming homeless or houseless, however you want to identify it as, and how they're going to choose hospital parking lots because it's safer. And I just want to put this into perspective as a woman in her 50s who lives in an off-road vehicle. You need to throw this ideology of I need to stay safe out the window, because there is absolutely nothing safe about living in a vehicle ever. First of all, the weather. It's about to be over 100 degrees, which means it's going to be probably about 110 in your vehicle. And since most homeless people have a problem with detachment, you're probably hoarding as much stuff as you can from your old life in that vehicle, giving you even less space to live and to breathe. So that is probably the last thing you need to worry about, is where can I sleep that's safe? You need to worry about your health. You need to worry about how are you going to stay hydrated? How are you going to exercise? And how are you going to give yourself the quality of life you deserve? Because just because you're living in your car does not mean you don't deserve things. And if I can tell you one thing you need to master, it is going to be the art of detachment, and get rid of all that shit in your car. You don't need it. It doesn't serve you. You're holding on to a life that no longer exists. Get rid of it. It's holding you down. It is going to be so hot. You have no idea what it is like to be homeless when it is hot. So if you want to think about safety, I highly suggest you start thinking about where you're going to live near water and with cooler temperatures. Because driving around the city you became homeless in is a trauma loop. And going from hospital parking lot to hospital parking lot, that's not safety. You're a moving target. That's what you are. And I don't know if a lot of you are in the understanding that being homeless is pretty much a crime in almost every state. Whether it's a crime or not, you are shunned, you are looked down on, the police give you problems, and nobody likes the homeless. So when it comes to, oh, I just want to feel safe, I'm a single woman and living in my car, nobody gives a Nobody gives a You are now homeless.
You know, y'all, I just saw something that touched my heart. I just saw a mom hooked up to a machine who states that she is giving her plasma in exchange for money to be able to afford her children's school clothes and supplies. A mom is giving plasma. This is what's happening in the USA. And I just want to say, as a former single mom myself, who was once a homeless single mom, I know how hard single moms work to provide for their children. I am absolutely praying for single moms out there. But I also want to add this. There are a lot of single moms who are finding that it is better to move abroad as it relates to affordability. There are many countries out there where you can go and you will find that the cost of living is a lot less than America.
I was thinking about this. We are the richest country on the planet, one of the richest countries. Why does it look like ass? Like, really think about that for a second. Like, when you're driving, if you're not in like Florida or California or the coast of like Oregon or whatever, it's like, this place looks like shit. And we have so much money. Like, I'm thinking of like Europe and Japan and all the architecture like across the world and how beautiful it looks. Why don't we have like rose gold buildings and like
Why does the Kmart's and like all of the stores look like shit? Like, I don't know. I'm just thinking in my head, I'm closing my eyes and I can imagine like what a country, like look at China, like Shanghai, like the coast, like all those videos you see, that's like no joke, stunning, beautiful, high tech. You would think America would look like that with the amount of money that we have, but it just looks like, you know what I mean?
I'm about to be homeless in like 2 days. I don't want your pity, or I don't want you to feel bad for me. But what I would like is for anyone to know what it's like to live in your car, and maybe some essentials that I can pick up that's going to be super helpful. I already have like a little porta potty situation, but I'm thinking of like, you know, I don't know, maybe some electrical things that I'll need for like charging stuff. I mean, I have car chargers, but like I really don't want to have my car like on the whole time while I'm doing it. I think my car charges while it's off. Any essentials that you think I might need, anything that will be helpful, even any places that I can go and like park to be safe. I am in California, so if you know the area, specifically Bay Area, that would be helpful. I'm gonna get a gym membership so I can shower and all that stuff. Any places not to go, any don'ts that you can offer, let me know. But I'm a woman, so I just want to feel safe. I want to feel comfortable. Obviously, I'm outside, so. But like, and I was already thinking about getting some like window covers so that way people can't see in at night. But yeah, I'm in California. If you have any tips, please leave them in the comment.
This is what our shitty ass healthcare has come to, where my patients need medicine and supplies and their insurance won't cover it, and here I am spending my own money because my patient needs it, and he doesn't have any money and he can't work. And the insurance won't even cover what he needs. And I'm sad and I'm sick and tired of it.
I'm an American. I pay $1,600 for a flat that has no bedroom. That's 2/3 of my income. I'm an American. I work 50 hours a week. I don't have health insurance. I'm an American. I couldn't afford to have a child even if I wanted to. I'm $7,000 in debt. I'm an American. My health is declining because I can't afford Whole Foods because that's too expensive for my life. I am very overqualified for my job, but no one else is hiring. I'm an American. I make my boss hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, while I can barely keep myself alive. I'm an American. I have never been out of the States. I have never been on a vacation. I'm an American. I make $20-some an hour. A livable wage here is like 30-some. Yet I don't qualify for government assistance whatsoever. On the days I don't work, I'm so tired I just sleep all day. I'm an American. My electric bill is so expensive I sit outside in the heat because I can't afford to turn the AC on in the damn house. I'm an American, and I fear I'm just an average American. I'm living the American dream.
When we were younger, we sort of recognized and mocked third world countries and their living standard, and the idea of America ever feeling like a third world country was beyond imagination. Now that has totally changed. Entire communities are one unexpected bill away from losing everything. If you're still stable right now, this is the time to prepare. Save money if you can, stock food, cut unnecessary expenses. Find ways to reduce debt, store value in real assets, build a safety net, make backup plans, and think long term. Tell me in the comments what you do to prepare. Any tips? What expenses have you cut down? Thanks for watching, good luck out there, and let's enjoy the collapse.